maybe I just anticipate insanity all the time, but it really feels like there's some kind of calm before the storm thing going on. Not just here in the neighborhood, which it does, kind of, but in the world in general. You know, they backed off their cop thing. They stopped yelling at people to take the thing. Maybe they found like they have enough of a percentage in their control group and their study group, because it absolutely is that. But to switch over to the Ukraine thing, I don't think enough people really give a shit about that. I mean, it's far away, you know, for most people here in the U.S. anyway. And I mean, you're always going to have your people who will just support the current thing, and they switch their Facebook profile or whatever social media avatar to reflect that they support the current thing. You're always going to have those drones, those minions, whatever they are. But it's a very eye of the storm kind of situation, where there seems to be nothing happening, but I mean, we're in the storm. You know, this is just an eye of the storm. There's still plenty of people here that walk around with their masks on in their cars with their masks on. Like I said the other day, people will do that until the day they die. They traumatize a lot of people with that shit. But they work like an abusive relationship. They'll hit you with something and then back off, maybe give you flowers or something, and they've backed so far off it that like you can't even really talk about it in public places. I mean, online public squares, as they don't really have IRL public squares. Well, they kind of do. There are places, like especially where I live, like up by where the tourist street is, Kalakaua. There are people that do that, kind of stand there and talk about stuff. Usually it's Bible people, Jesus people. But I don't think they're actually Jesus people, because all their signs look very professionally made. And the person is always acting like a lunatic, which makes me think it's just these people are there to make God look bad. Or at least it feels that way. You know, they always get the most unhinged looking person with the strangest takes, you know. It repels you, and it makes you think, oh, those Jesus people are crazy. That's the point. And you look at some of these guys doing this, and you're like, nice sign you got there. That must have cost a couple $100 at whatever printing company you went to get it. And if you've been here any length of time, you notice a lot of them tend to have the same design. You know, there's a budget for that stuff. You know, people don't really realize that. I mean, there's a budget for gang stalking. You know, I posted that video recently, linking to the one where the kid went to apply for the gang stalking job in California, and it was like in a federal building, and they pay in gift cards some of these programs, which is kind of crazy. So that's why it's always like a lot of the most inept people, you know, will be the ones doing this kind of thing, you know. But yeah, it's very much a quiet time, a calm before the storm type situation. There's all these guys here like this that'll take these weapons or like bow staffs or something, and they'll jump around like aggressively, like doing some kind of display. It's like, man, people do anything to get attention. You see a lot of that here. At least that guy had some kind of weapon. Some of these guys just run around throwing karate kicks and hoping people stay away from them. I usually go right as close to them as I possibly can. And they stopped acting crazy pretty quickly. That's the same thing with the people screaming. You'll get those screaming guys here, whether it's demonic possession or they're just looking for attention. And when you get near them, they tend to get really quiet. Unless they're asking you for something, which, you know, happens a lot. I like when they do the setups to ask me for stuff. Like, day before yesterday, I'm just walking, and this happens all the time. Guy's about to cross the street, sees me coming, smoking a cigarette. So, instead of crossing the street when the indicator says he can, he then walks away from the corner, finds a little spot to sit down on, so he can act like, oh, I was just hanging out here, and you just happened to walk by, and you know, hey brother, have a cigarette? Sorry man, no, I don't have any. Even if I do, I get some out sometimes, but it all depends on how you ask me. If it's organic, fine. But if you're gonna make a little setup and try to pretend that, you know, it was organic, I'm not gonna do that for you, because you shouldn't be doing that to people. And it happens a lot. And then once you say no, there's always some kind, it goes from being super friendly, aloha brother, to anywhere from mumbling under their breath about you being an asshole to yelling back at you. It's funny. Yeah, they go from aloha to real aloha in a couple seconds. But yeah, man, I can't shake the feeling that there's this lull here. Like, what's next? You know, as I've said many times before, they find a way to obfuscate their plans because it's mostly all black magic shit. So they have a way to disguise that, so you can't really look too far into what they're doing. I like when they're out in the open. And again, by they, I mean, you know, whatever group of minions you want to put in that space. You know, lizard people, the tribe, the elites, whatever. You know, take your pick. Take your pick in the creepy lineup. But yeah, it's very quiet. And in this day and age, quiet is a bit concerning. You know, not like I'm worried. You should never be worried. You should never be, because ultimately there isn't a whole lot you can do. Unfortunately, we're in a position in that aspect for IRL stuff where we have to be just kind of reactionary. You can always do stuff within and work on, because that's where all the fighting back, all the insights, it's all going to happen inside yourself, man. You know, you're going to get those messages from just being quiet, really. And when you're not observing and you're just kind of looking inward, I used to think that kind of talk was very hippy dippy trippy, but it's actually true, you know, how that works. That's because you have all the answers, man. All the answers to anything you want to know, you have inside you. It's like coded, like a computer, like in your DNA. You have the questions and all the answers. It's just a matter of being able to recall, to remember, to get that information yourself. But yeah, things have become so crazy in this world that when there's nothing going on, it's like, all right, what are they up to? You know, I'm sure we'll find out soon. We're living in a time now where you don't get a lot of downtime. Honolulu 8-point turn. I don't know if you're witnessing that. Yeah, it's really weird. I've never seen that kind of thing until I moved here. Like, someone will want to get into this space here, and what they'll do is they'll go to the other end of the garage and do like 5 different turns, and you don't know where they're going. I just usually split the scene to try to get out of the way, and then we'll like come into this space. It's like, really? You were going all this way, motherfucker, to come in this space? And that's the Honolulu 8-point turn. Yeah. If something interesting pops up, I'll be grabbing the camera to talk about it, I'm sure. But until then, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.